Beta in the building. What's popping?
Man, what's up?
How
What's
you
going
doing
on?
right now? Talk to me. Tell me all the things.
Dude, I'm doing great. I woke up early,
Hmm.
drank some water. That's what you got to do.
I feel that. I feel that. So yesterday, of course, you took over our TikTok, and I was wondering what is the significance of this cat that you changed the profile picture to?
Well, that's my cat. That's my cat named Chance after Chance the Rapper. And he's super dope. I feel bad though. I thought I was gonna get in trouble. Like, I texted. I was like, dude, can I change the profile picture just for like a little bit? And she didn't answer. And so I was like, okay, that wasn't a no. So I just did it. And then and then after I like post every video, she's like, yeah, don't do that. And I'm like, oh, I just texted her back. I was like, I'm so sorry.
That is so funny. Are you one of those people that are like ask for forgiveness instead of ask for permission?
Man, I'm like one of those people that ask for permission, but then do it anyways, uh, before they could give me it, But I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, you're too slow. So I guess so. At least I could say I asked for permission.
No, no. Let me tell you, you can always play dumb. That's why you have to ask for forgiveness as opposed to permission.
Hey, low key, no, that might be it. I
I'm
don't
tr-
know.
I'm trying to tell you, bruh.
I know I should have just done that. I shouldn't have even said anything.
Yep. Then I'm like, whose cat is this? So listen, you've been doing music for a minute now. When did you feel like that you wanted to get started with this? That this was your dream, your passion?
Man, I would say like straight out of elementary school. That's like when I knew I was like I wanted to be a rapper, and then it kind of evolved from just rap and everything, even instrumentally too, because like I played trumpet and keys and everything. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's been since then. Like I was recording songs and everything once I was like 12, putting up YouTube videos at 11 and everything, and just trying to figure stuff out. But it didn't really start like picking up, and like I didn't actually start getting better like faster until like the end of high school for the most part. But yeah, that's what I always kind of knew that this is what I wanted to do.
Do you remember that first song that you heard or first musical influence where you were just like, okay, I got to be doing this too?
Low key, it was so when I was like little, I started writing songs because I started listening to John Mayer,
Mhm.
Jason Mraz. I was really into Rob Thomas too when I was like younger, like elementary school. And then I was on YouTube and I started seeing these videos of just like, people sitting in front of their mic, like rapping, and at the time I was listening to like Will Smith and stuff, but I didn't really know like I was just listening to music. I never really differentiated it, right? Because I was like, my parents are both music teachers, so I'm like growing up around like instrumental music and jazz and big band stuff and everything. So it like at a certain point I started seeing people like legit just rapping like really fast. That was like the trend back then. And yeah, I was like, I want to try doing this. I just started doing it like every day. And I just kept going with it. So yeah.
Do you ever look back on the songs? Because you said you were writing songs when you were younger. Look back on the song and you're like, man, what was I going through? What was in this young person's head at that time?
Yeah. I have a whole little folder on my computer and like on a flash drive too, just in case. It's just this old music and it's like stuff when I was 12, 13, 14, just going up. It's so funny to like go back. And then like when I get new friends too, I just sit down and I show them. I'm like, yeah, so this is how it used to be.
I'm glad that you don't cringe off of it. Like you're
Oh, I do.
embracing it.
I
You do, you
I
do.
cringe. I cringe, but it's like here's the thing about that. Like you can cringe at yourself, but like I'm cringing at the old me, right? I'm not cringing at who I am now. So it's like I'm like I'm still embracing it at the same time. Like I'm appreciating. I'm like, wow, yeah, that's cringy, but like look at where I'm at now, Like look at the progress I've gone through, not even just musically, but like as a person. Like it's crazy. So I honestly love looking back on it, even though it might be hard to watch sometimes. I love looking back at like little old videos and stuff. Cause I actually have a video on YouTube of me like might have been like my first rap or something. Like I'm just
Mhm.
rapping it. I said it was a rap battle, but I was like 11 years old. So it was me at 11 years old just rapping away about McDonald's. So
I love that. Do you ever go down the rabbit hole and the look at the folder of old songs, right? And you just go back to that place and time of either writing that song or recording that song? What are some of the thoughts that come to your mind when you do that?
Wow. I guess it's just crazy to think about who that little kid was, like he didn't know anything. That's like kind of what we all do, right? Like when we
Mhm.
just look back at old pictures or just think back to like how we were as kids. It's just crazy because I've gone through so much stuff now that like great stuff, great experiences, but also like really hard stuff. And it's cool to see how that's influenced me as a person and influenced my music as I, grow up and develop in all aspects. So it's just wild just to see the growth, you know what I mean?
I wonder if that young 12-year-old would be proud of you right now.
Yeah, I definitely think that 12-year-old would be proud. But he would also be like, "Oh, that's what it's really like." Cuz I had this idea in my head about like what being in the music industry was like and putting out music and having a lot of people listen to it and the stuff that I thought was important back then and like the really cool stuff isn't necessarily the really cool stuff now, right? When I was like little, I would like I would like fall asleep and dream about like being on stage and just it was like the fame aspect, you know what I mean? Like the clout, like, oh my gosh, like I want to be famous, I want to be this, I want to be that, like wanting the attention and everything. And now when I look at it, when I look at this type of stuff now that I've kind of like gotten a little bit of that, it's like, yeah, that's really cool, but that's not the impactful part. Like for me, like that's not the part is like the one or two people that DM you, right, saying, "Hey, this song really helped me. Like I relate to this song and everything like that." And seeing just the impact you make on individuals' lives, not the impact that they make on my own, right? And that's like the beautiful thing about it all. Like that's the part. That's the reason why I do it now. Like actually release music and stuff. Because otherwise, if I just like music, I kind of gave up on the whole like wanting to be famous thing. Like I don't, I really, I could not care less at this point. I just want people to like, I just want to affect people. Really, that's it.
So it really means a lot if somebody slides into your DMs and says, "This song did this to me, and thank you so much for that."
Yeah, it's crazy actually. Like that is the reason why I do. That's the reason why I do everything. And like when Spotify Wrapped came out this like past year, I noticed like it was significantly more. Like I was significantly more people's like top listened to artists than the
Mhm.
year before. Like it was crazy. It was thousands. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that means like out of all the artists that they listen to, all the music, my voice is in their ear, right? The majority of the time when they're listening to music. It's crazy to think about. Like I'm like with them as they just go throughout their day. Like they could be going through some super hard stuff and they could be listening to one of my happy songs and it just affects them a certain way. And they could be doing homework. They could be at the gym, just driving, like all these normal things that, we all do while listening to music. Like I'm like the soundtrack to their lives a little bit. It's
Right.
crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
It's hard to wrap your mind around how you can be exposed to so many ears. And what's interesting is how maybe when you're creating a song, it's not necessarily that intent, but for people to use it to get over, like, let's say, for example, a breakup, or if they're just in a bad mood, to use it to feel happy, that has to feel really good too.
Yeah, like sometimes I could write a song and it not necessarily be like 100% about my situation, or maybe it's art, so maybe I'm exaggerating stuff to a certain extent, so the emotions there, like at the root of it all, are still the same, but just might have been blown up, and seeing like how people take that, or if I write a song and people take it a completely different way, right? Because it's all subjective. It's so cool to see like just how that can affect people, even unintentionally, like it's still affecting them. It's crazy.
So, how does music and social media go hand in hand for you?
Well, social media is kind of the whole reason why music started becoming a reality in my life. Um because I mean, it was, I would say, right when COVID happened, and I'm sure a lot of artists have the same sort of story.
Right.
I started getting heavy on TikTok. Because like I was in college and sent us all home, and I was just in my room for like months, right? So I just started doing TikTok and meeting a lot of people on there and having stuff like do well. And from there it kind of put me in this social media realm. So like most of my friends that I meet nowadays, I meet online first. And it's crazy to think about. Like that's just the reality of my situation is and it's cool that I live in Los Angeles too. So like I could actually meet these people in real life because a lot of them are, here. But it social media and music go hand in hand because all my friends are musicians and all my friends are on social media.
Mhm.
And that's just kind of like socially where I'm at as well.
It's
So
interesting how we used the pandemic to like really hone in and do something new. You know what I mean?
yeah, like I was on social media and everything, but it was more so like I was using it to show I just wasn't using TikTok. Like that was kind of like a new thing then, or like a thing I didn't really think about, helping with music. It was just
Mhm.
like, I don't know, watching stupid videos, which it still is for me. I'm not gonna
Right.
lie. That's what I use it for still. But when I actually make stuff instead of consume it, yeah, that's when the music comes in.
Let's talk about your song "I Hate Her Boyfriend's Face." It's coming out May 13th. Tell us all about that.
Man, I was going through it, man. I don't know what to say. So this song is basically it's a song about self-love and the effect that, not having self-love, like how that can affect a relationship. And I guess what goes through all of our minds, all of us people that kind of experience, that lack of self-love, uh and then what results from that. It's a pretty crazy song because there's a twist in it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the reason why everybody's kind of like messing with it on TikTok is because you don't expect it to go the way that it actually does. But yeah, I was just going through it, and there was kind of like a little relationship thing I was almost in, and I kind of had to stop it because of me, right? So, which from then it's cool to see because I hear the song over and over again now because I have to promote it and people send it to me and I'm playing out the show to people and all of that, right? And it's cool that like I don't feel that way anymore for real, but it it still like reminds me of it every single time I listen to it. So it's kind of heavy, but you get used to it, and it's
It
cool.
bring-
It's just cool to know that like you know it marks a period in my life in the past. It doesn't just define who I am, right? And I think that's what happens with all of us in our struggles.
It also shows you how far you've come too.
Facts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Because even getting to the point, I would say even as a person too, for what the song's about, like even getting to the point where you like realize um that this is like an issue, like that the way you view yourself could affect your relationship, and that might be why things aren't working, and that might be why you treat people a certain way or you let somebody treat you a certain way. Like I feel like that's like a big step in growth, and just like maturing.
Absolutely. Tell us what are you working on next?
Man, I'm really wanting to put out an album soon. uh we have a lot of songs for it. We have a lot of like single ideas, but it's crazy in this day and age. You kind of have to let you kind of have to let social media decide what you release next. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like, and that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been letting kind of like the fans decide what what comes out next and when a project will happen and all that. But there's definitely one coming sooner than people think.
it's really interesting that because I feel like that's the trend, and so far these fans have been because think about it, these are the people that's going to be consuming it. So why not give them the power to tell you when should it come out, and also if they like it or not, if you give them a taste of it on TikTok or any type of social media platform, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like as much as people can sort of loathe TikTok and the way that it's changing the industry and changing the way that people interact with music and consume it, I do think it's also kind of cool how it's changing it too. I feel like it gives people more of a say, and I feel like it places them more, it makes them closer to the artist because they're really close to the process of the song being recorded and you know mixed, mastered, and distributed, and all the promotional stuff that comes with it. Because I mean, you could be right there with the artist as they're doing it. You could decide. Like I read all of my TikTok comments, which sometimes I feel like I should stop doing.
Probably not healthy.
Probably not completely healthy, but I do read them like all. I'd be sitting there on my phone like for hours, and I love to see where people's heads are at when it comes to my music and what they actually enjoy. Because it's like I said, I don't really just do this for what I can get from fans. It's like what I can give to them and how I can affect their lives. So it's not like a me thing anymore. And
Hmm.
that's like the biggest realization I've had these past couple years making music. So yeah,
Well,
that's why I love TikTok.
I love that. It is a pleasure, or it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for jumping on and chatting with us.
No problem, no problem. It was great to meet you.
Great to meet you too.